Kim Kardashian is often dismissed as famous for being famous. But that explanation is lazy. Fame without structure fades. Influence without psychology collapses. And yet, Kim Kardashian has not only remained relevant, she has expanded her power across fashion, beauty, media, and culture for more than a decade. This is not accidental. It is psychological. To understand Kim Kardashian's influence, you have to stop looking at her as a celebrity and start analyzing her as a system. A carefully maintained psychological presence designed to capture attention, trigger identification, and sustain relevance in a culture driven by visibility. At the core of Kim Kardashian's influence is one fundamental human instinct: attention equals value. In modern society, visibility has replaced traditional markers of power. People no longer ask who is most skilled or most intelligent. They ask who is most seen. Kim understood this earlier than most. Her rise did not begin with talent in a traditional sense. It began with exposure. But exposure alone is unstable. What made her different was how she shaped that exposure into familiarity. Psychologists call this the mere exposure effect, the tendency for people to develop preference for things simply because they are familiar with them. Kim Kardashian didn't try to be extraordinary at first. She tried to be everywhere. Through reality television, social media, paparazzi culture, and constant visual presence, her image became unavoidable. And the human brain, when repeatedly exposed to the same face, begins to experience it as safe, known, and relevant. Familiarity breeds trust, even without merit. Another critical aspect of her psychology is relatability layered over aspiration. Kim never positioned herself as unreachable royalty. She allowed access. Viewers saw her family conflicts, insecurities, romantic failures, and emotional breakdowns. This created parasocial relationships, one-sided emotional bonds where audiences feel personally connected to someone they've never met. These bonds are powerful. They bypass logic and create emotional loyalty. People didn't just watch Kim. They felt like they knew her. At the same time, Kim maintained aspiration. Luxury homes, designer fashion, elite social circles. This balance between, "she's just like me," and "she lives a life I want," is psychologically magnetic. It keeps audiences emotionally engaged without triggering inferiority or resentment. Too perfect creates distance. Too ordinary creates boredom. Kim mastered the space in between. Another overlooked element is her control over narrative. Kim rarely disappears. Even during controversy, she remains present. Psychologically, this reduces uncertainty. When someone controls their visibility, they control interpretation. Silence creates space for others to define you. Kim minimizes that space. This is narrative dominance. She also understands emotional neutrality. Kim's public affect is often calm, composed, restrained. She rarely displays extreme emotion in public spaces. This emotional regulation creates authority. In psychology, emotional control is associated with higher status. The calmer person in a room is perceived as more powerful. Drama may attract attention. Composure sustains influence. Kim also embodies visual consistency. Her appearance, poses, color palettes, and aesthetic themes are carefully curated. Consistency reduces cognitive effort for the audience. When people don't have to reprocess who you are, they stay engaged longer. This is cognitive fluency. The brain prefers what is easy to process. Even her silence is strategic. Kim does not over-explain herself. Ambiguity invites projection. When people don't fully understand someone, they fill in the gaps with their own beliefs. This allows different audiences to see what they want to see in her. Projection increases attachment. Her business success follows the same psychological principles. Schemes did not succeed solely because of product quality. It succeeded because Kim herself functioned as proof of concept. Social proof is one of the strongest psychological drivers. When someone admired uses something, it gains instant credibility. People weren't buying shapewear. They were buying proximity to identity. Kim also benefits from status inheritance. She associates herself with high-status individuals, brands, and institutions. Over time, status transfers. Psychologists call this associative value transfer, the tendency to attribute qualities of one entity to another when they are consistently linked. Luxury, power, influence, all become psychologically attached to her name. Criticism has played an unexpected role in her influence. Instead of resisting criticism, Kim absorbs it. She allows controversy to exist without collapsing under it. This creates psychological desensitization in the audience. Over time, what once shocked becomes normal. Normalization stabilizes influence. Her reinvention is another key factor. Kim does not cling to one identity. She evolves. Reality star, fashion icon, businesswoman, law student, advocate. Each shift prevents stagnation and reactivates attention. Psychologically, novelty re-engages dopamine systems in the brain. She refreshes herself before the audience gets bored. Kim's relationship with validation is also unique. She does not publicly reject admiration, nor does she appear dependent on it. This balance signals security. People are drawn to individuals who accept attention without chasing it. Chasing attention lowers status. Managing attention raises it. Her influence also rests on visual dominance. Humans are visual creatures. Kim understands angles, lighting, framing, and repetition. She presents her body and image as symbols. Not just appearance, but meaning, beauty, control, desirability, success. Symbols are more powerful than explanations. Perhaps the most misunderstood part of her psychology is resilience. Kim has endured intense public judgment, humiliation, and scrutiny. Instead of retreating, she recalibrated. Psychologically, this demonstrates emotional resilience, the ability to remain functional and adaptive under prolonged stress. Public pressure that would fracture many identities became her training ground. Kim Kardashian is not influential because she is flawless. She is influential because she is psychologically precise. She understands how humans bond, how attention works, how familiarity builds trust, and how identity can be packaged and projected. Her power is not accidental. It is constructed. And the deeper lesson is this: in the modern world, influence is not about being the best. It is about being understood by the human mind. Kim Kardashian understood that early, and built an empire on it. The question is not whether you admire her or criticize her. The real question is whether you understand the psychology that made her impossible to ignore. Because once you understand that, you begin to see influence everywhere, and you realize it was never random.